All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to Wine, Women, and Words. I'm Michelle, and with me, of course, is Diana.
Hello.
So tonight, if you are watching on YouTube, you can see that it is just the two of us. For those listening, it's just the two of us. So tonight is going to be a little book discussion episode. It's just Diana and me, so we'll probably be rambling. And
Which admit it, guys, you love our ramblings. We amuse you.
Those episodes. But first, before we get started, what are we drinking tonight?
I'm self-medicating because I'm at that point where I can feel a cold coming on. It's like, you know how you feel like a sinus infection that's just starting to happen, and I refuse to get sick because I've got plans for this weekend, and I've got the Women's March next weekend, and I missed it last year because I was sick, and I'm not going to miss it this year. So I'm drinking whiskey.
Oh, hey.
It's going to be a fun ride tonight, guys.
I'm in between Wink orders right now, but I actually just went on to my account today to look at, was it today or yesterday? I think it was today. To look, and I logged in, and right on the front page it said, "May we suggest," and it had like 3 new wines that they picked up based on my ordering history. Ooh. And I think I put like 2 of them in my box for this month. So have to order it still, but I totally label shopped this month because there was one, I think it was called like #TBT. I think, don't quote me on that, I can't remember, but the label looked really cool, so it's in the box.
I know which one you're talking about. I think you're right. It's a #TBT Throwback Thursday is the wine. Yeah, I like that one. Looks good. I went on a Pinot Noir kick, so I've got a bunch of Pinot Noirs, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm a train wreck this week. I'm total fucking train wreck.
So earlier today, we'll get this part out of the way. Mm-hmm. Oh, but before we do that, so this is not a Wink wine. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon that my mom bought while she was here for the holidays and left my wine fridge completely stocked, which is awesome.
Oh, yay, Mom. Love it when moms do that.
So, but it's yummy, but I'm really looking forward to my awesome new labels from Wink. And if you guys want to check out that TBT, can't remember what the name of it is, but it has an awesome label, wine, go to trywink.com/www podcast and get $22 off of your first box. And then you can have awesome labels. Mm-hmm. Because the labels are half the fun of drinking wine.
They really are. It really is. I'm ashamed to say it, but it's true.
Oh, I am not ashamed. I totally label shop sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pleasantly surprised when an awesome label has an awesome wine bottled up inside.
You know, I feel like when it comes to wine labels, you've got to have the really awesome wine labels, and then the better the wine label, the better the wine needs to be.
And like, it raises the bar.
It does. It really does. You've got something to live up to. Either that, or you have to go with like an indie, like a very elegant indie wine. Like you're above all of the commercial stuff, and you're just this one lone winery in the middle of Oregon, and you're all about your own individual wines. It's like one or the other. You can't go commercial. You can't be standard Robert Mondavi, Kendall Farms, whatever one that is. Basic label. You gotta step up your game. It's got to be little mini pieces of artwork.
And some of them are. I have a few bookmarks that I transformed from labels that were too pretty to go to waste, and I just stumbled across a whole stash of them that I thought I lost.
Oh.
But you guys, let's talk a minute about the train wreck that is Diana today.
Today, this week. this week started off. So I think, in all honesty, I think there is a curse associated with the Surviving R. Kelly series, because I watched that, and seriously, guys, everybody needs to watch that, because that guy is a monster, and it's ridiculous how much he's gotten away from it. And people were talking about they had nightmares, and I did not have nightmares, but I play with my rings, my wedding rings, when I get nervous. And I've been losing some weight, and so like I got heavier because, you know, when I got married when I was 20, I was rail thin, and naturally now that I'm pushing 40, I am not rail thin, and my wedding bands didn't fit my left hand anymore, so I've been wearing them on my right hand. I've been losing weight again, so I tried to switch over to the left hand while I was watching the Surviving R. Kelly series, and I got my wedding band stuck on my ring finger. And we're not just talking stuck. You got to get some Windex. Your finger's a little sore for the next few days. No, we're talking, I had to go to the mother effing jeweler the next day to have the ring cut off. And Monday night, I was just sheer panic because my finger's all swollen. It's starting to cut into my skin. I'm like waking up every few hours thinking that my finger's going to turn purple and fall off, and I'm going to have to go to the emergency room. I mean, this is sheer panic, guys. Like, I'm texting my husband at 11 o'clock at night going, should I go to the ER? And he's like, what the hell? What'd you do? So, yeah, I just woke up the next day feeling like crap and just really, really super tired. And then, of course, you know, the whole ring thing. Get it cut off. And I'll share a picture on Instagram of what happened to my poor wedding band. And I felt like an idiot, too, for trying it. Trying to get my I should have known. I should have known and just gone and gotten them resized, but I didn't. And so, yeah, I did that. And, yeah, and then I started getting this cold that I've been dealing with. And then fast forward to this afternoon, about a couple hours before the show. And Michelle, you can take over from there. So, because you find this really hilarious.
This part is funny. I feel bad, but it's funny. So we both, you know, we have our Wine Women and Words email address, and
Which, by the way, is winewomenandwordspodcast@gmail.com if you guys want to email us.
So, yes, so we both use that to, you know, communicate with authors, talk to publishers, agents, whoever is reaching out to us to schedule guests. So I have been emailing with the publicist for an author who's coming on in June that I'm super excited about. So there are emails in the inbox from her and emails in the sent folder from me. So I don't even know why I did this, but I happened to go into the sent folder on my phone, and I'm scrolling through. I think maybe I wanted to see if I just went in there, and I saw one to the publicist that I was talking to, but it was a message because, you know, in Gmail, when you can see like the first line of the message, I see a line that I definitely did not type. So I open it, and it's a message from Diana to a completely different person going like, I hit send too soon. Sorry. And it's like this whole thing. So I screenshot it and I sent it to her. And I said, you're going to be waiting a really long time for a response to this email because you sent it to the wrong person.
What's funny about that screenshot is that it took me about 30 seconds to realize that I sent it to the wrong person, as opposed to, at first I thought, oh, I just replied to us. Because let me also explain it. In my sinus infection haze because I forgot to take my Mucinex this morning before I left the office. And then it wasn't until like a few minutes before then that I discovered that I had a secret stash of Mucinex in my desk. We're going to be doing a joint episode with the Literary Roadhouse as a special episode. And her name starts with A. And the publicist that Michelle's talking to, her name is like Alexis or Alexa or something along those lines.
Also starts with A.
Yeah. So I'm messaging the Literary Roadhouse host, starting the discussions with her. I hit send too soon on it. And then I was like, oh crap, I hit send when I meant to minimize it. And then I saw the email, it shoots me back into the inbox. I see the email and I see the A and I was like, okay, that's her. I'm going to go ahead and respond. I mean, at least I wasn't bashing anybody. There's at least that going for me. But yeah, this has just been one of those weeks. I cannot wait until tomorrow. I'm going to go home and I'm going to just crash. My husband is going to be home and I'm just going to be like, you go forage for dinner.
That's basically what we did tonight because I didn't feel like cooking. But on the upside, we do have this killer book that we've been reading.
Killer, quite literally.
Yes.
I actually have some wine stains on my book.
I have
kind of a mark of like championship.
I folded in all the tabs that I have stuck on here because I didn't want the tabs to stick out for my pictures. But I'm going to pull the tabs out so you guys can see what's on here. Do I have another one? I don't think so.
I haven't tabbed too much in my story as of late. But I have a couple theories. Now, guys, before we go into this, for those of you who are watching, this is the point, and those of you who are listening, this is the point where we're going to go into spoilers. It is going to be spoilerific from this point on. So we're going to give you a couple minutes to go ahead and close out because we are going to be dishing on everything. When I am talking everything about this book because Michelle and I have a lot to discuss. So give yourselves a few minutes. Michelle's going to pull out her tabs. We'll patiently wait while I drink more medicine.
Yes, because I have a dual tab system going on here from the top, and I think I dropped my little pad of tabs, but from the top, oh, there was another one. I knew there was another one. I have characters, so each day I have up here. This is the hosts that he's in every day. So I can tell who he's in on what day and in what order. And from the bottom up, I have major plot twists and special events. And then on the bottom, stop laughing at me. I'm
not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you.
On the major plot twists, I have highlighted certain passages or sentences that were, oh my God, moments. Like, did I even? Oh, yes, I did. For example, for anyone who has not clicked off yet.
Okay, let's establish at what point are we going to be talking up to at this point?
I'm up to chapter 26. So I'm still on Jonathan Darby.
Okay.
And I'm about halfway through him. So after he meets Anna.
Okay, I am on chapter 34, so that it was good for me to find out so that I do not spoil it for you. And I'm glad I picked up the place as us because I was like, a place for us for me to read today because I was like, I need to give Michelle some time to catch up to me. So guys, at this point, we are going to discuss up to chapter 26. So this is a point where we're going to go ahead and put you on hold. We'll do the official hold right here, so that you don't have to get any spoilers.
Yeah, and I kind of want to, because Diana's been emailing Stuart back and forth to nail down a day and time for...
Which we have.
Which is February 3rd at 1 p.m. Pacific time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was easier to do 1 p.m. Pacific time and... whatever time that's going to be in Australia, and then figure out Michelle from there, because I kid you not, as I'm looking at the possible times to give him for the show, I was thinking, I feel like Aiden Bishop right now. I feel like one of his bloody characters at the moment because it's just all wibbly wobbly, timely, wimey shit.
So, but I want to take a picture of this.
I
And
warned him about that. I told him you did that.
because he said, okay, guys, so if you're reading along with us, we're about halfway-ish through the book. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish this well before February 3rd. He has admitted that he has planted things, clues, little mind-blowing bombs.
By the time you finish this book, I fully expect the wall behind you to look like something out of the FBI with like printouts.
With red threads connecting everything.
And our cast, which by the way, I forgot we were going to be discussing our cast of characters.
I haven't thought of anyone.
I thought of a few. And we'll discuss those in a little bit. But yeah, you're gonna have that behind you. I can just see that, and you're gonna be like,
I almost kind of want to do that just to really freak him out to the level of obsession that I can take this book. Maybe I will.
Please don't, because I mean he is writing a second one, and I'd love to have him come back for the second one.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be so stoked if someone actually made a wall to try to track down like whatever is going on in your book?
Maybe.
Like, okay, if it was you, then yeah, that would be creepy. But your characters, like, if I
you did not make that sound insulting at all.
No, I mean, like, if it was like pictures of him on my wall, that would be creepy. But if I have like pictures of our cast connecting events, because so far my favorite and my biggest plot twist was the engagement.
Yes. Oh my God, the engagement. Let's have a discussion about the freaking engagement, because there was a point where Michelle got to this point before I did. And it's been this really weird thing with us when reading this book, because one of us will get really like 3 chapters ahead of the other one and then pause. And then the other one will get 3 chapters ahead and then pause. And we just kind of like this race. And while we wait for the other one to catch up to us. So she messages me going, oh my God, page 125. I screamed, what? And nearly woke up Landon. And then I got to the page 125 and I literally screamed, what? And I was by myself, so I didn't have to worry about waking anybody up.
Yeah, no, that part, because, so let's break this down really quick. We're talking about so we know that the person, the narrator who is going from host to host to host is Aidan Bishop, which, I mean, as far as character names, love it. He sounds like such a nice guy, and I feel bad for him.
Okay, so here is my theory. I have this theory, now that you know who Aidan Bishop is. My theory, guys, is that Aidan Bishop, because he came by choice. I think you got to that point, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. At this point, we know he came by choice. I still feel really weird discussing spoilers. But he came by choice. So I think Aidan is in love with whoever this Evelyn, with Evelyn, and Evelyn is really going by Anna. So Anna is there trying to solve her own murder. That's why she is forced to be there. And Aidan was in love with her. He met her in Paris, and he chose to be there, go through this to try to save her. So that's why he remembers her name. And okay, have you learned much about Anna yet?
So I know that she's trapped there too, but whereas he remembers what happens like from one host to the other, and he has a linear sense of time, she wakes up every day and doesn't know anything, doesn't remember anything. The only thing she remembers is Aidan's name, and she has like this notebook that she keeps track of everything, so she can kind of figure out who he is and what's happened. But we also don't know how long they've been trapped in this loop, because the stupid plague doctor, who is creepy as hell.
Which, by the way, guys, if you can get the mask if you want to play the plague doctor for Halloween. Just saying.
I mean, talk about theatrics.
Right?
And I just had my first encounter with him where he kind of like actually provided information. And
well, let's also say that he's providing information because Aiden isn't being a dick. Because up to this point, Aiden's fighting him on everything, and he's there willing to give him information, but Aiden's like, no, I've got to run away from this situation. So he goes and takes off in a car. He tries to fight him as opposed to getting as much information as possible when he can get it.
But he's also still not really trying to solve the murder. He's trying to figure out a way to stop it instead of trying to figure out who did it, which I think are two different things.
Yes.
So
I agree.
But I don't even know at this point. I've read one take, I guess, on the murder itself, and it looks like a suicide. It looks like she shot herself. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that turns into a murder or like what happened leading up to that moment.
Well, a suicide like that, let's go ahead and consider the fact that she could be persuaded because she's already been persuaded to come back. Her parents told her she had to come back to Blackhurst, otherwise they were going to write her brother out of a will. Now, keeping that in mind, there was actually a court case about 2 years ago where a teenage girl, encouraged her boyfriend to commit suicide. And he did. She was tried for his murder because she encouraged him to take the action to do that. So, and I don't know whether it was a manslaughter charge or if it was actually a murder charge, what the level of it was, but she was found responsible for his death. So with that in mind, and of course, yes, I know it is England in a different century, but still ethics apply. I think if somebody is coercing Evelyn to kill herself, then yes, it is a murder. Here to facto, I'm drinking more whiskey.
We went real crime for a second or true crime for a second.
I kind of feel like we're divulging into the true crime podcasts with this book. I now understand the true crime podcasts and what is so appealing about them.
But so far, and it's very much like time warps. Like all of a sudden, so we're in Jonathan Darby now, and he is actually the person who walks up behind Sebastian Bell at the beginning and puts the compass in his pocket and tells him.
I know. This is like some straight up Quantum Leap Doctor Who shit, and I love every minute of it.
And then we also know the woman screaming that Sebastian hears when he first wakes up, it's not Anna, it's Madeline running away from Jonathan Darby, who is a piece of crap, and really we hate him. But it wasn't Anna who was in trouble, and it wasn't a woman being shot at. It was Evelyn shooting at Jonathan Darby to get away from Madeline. I need my red thread to connect everyone together.
And then the question becomes, can Aiden actually change events? And I think the deeper and deeper he gets into this, the more he cannot.
Well, I think I had a dream about something similar to this because I've been so into this book. But in my dream, it was really weird, and I can't.
You need to write that book about the Versailles thing. You totally need to do that because this makes me think of that incident too.
But maybe this is like about the book, but in my dream, this guy kept going back in time to try to save this woman's life. And every time he did, she kept dying, but she kept dying because he went back in time. Like if he had just let it go.
Oh, that's like the butterfly effect.
True.
Yeah, so, very much like the butterfly effect. And then when he finally kills himself, that's when she lives.
No, he lets her go. He doesn't die.
In the butterfly effect?
Yeah, he lets her go.
No, he kills himself.
No, he doesn't. He
Yes,
lives.
he does. No, he doesn't.
Each other on the street at the end.
No, you were thinking of a different movie because what happens in the butterfly effect is that, okay, spoilers again, if you guys have not seen this movie, he goes back in time to the point where he is a fetus in his mother's womb and he wraps the umbilical cord around his own neck. And then his mother gives birth to a little girl and she doesn't have the powers. Huh?
That might be an alternate ending because the ending I remember is when they were little.
We're talking about the same movie because it's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not thinking of the ending. You're thinking of another point in the movie. You need, this weekend, you need to go back and you need to rewatch the movie.
No, the ending that I remember is he goes up to her when they're little kids at like a birthday party and he runs up to her and says, "I hate you. Stay away from me. If you ever come near me again, blah, blah, blah." And he scares her. And she runs back to her mom and cries. And so they're never friends and they never hang out. And like 30 years later, they're perfectly happy and healthy and everything's all right. And they pass.
That's a different movie.
No, it's the same movie.
Or that's something different. You're remembering a different part of it because I know distinctly that was the end of the movie because that freaked me out a little bit. Because I love time travel.
Google it right now, woman.
You're not gonna don't worry about Googling it right now. What you're gonna do is you're going to rent it on Amazon this weekend and you're gonna watch it and you're gonna see that I'm right.
No.
Yes.
I'm not
you know I'm right. Oh, I'm sure at this point it's like $2. Yeah, you're not gonna spend money because you know I'm right.
The Butterfly Effect has 4 different endings that were shot for the film. The theatrical release ending shows Evan passing Kaylee on the sidewalk. He sees her and recognizes her, but keeps walking. The happy ending alternative ending shows Evan and Kaylee stopping on the sidewalk when they cross paths. But no, I remember seeing that too. So that.
Okay. All right. Let's discuss something right here, right now.
Sorry, your ending is the director's cut ending.
Oh, okay. So my ending's the better ending.
Your ending is another ending.
It is another ending, but it's a better ending, in my opinion, because it's more poignant.
That's awful.
Because there's it is, but at the same time, there's always that possibility that they could still end up being friends because everything that he did in that movie didn't work to get her to stay away from him. And then all of a sudden, while they're kids, he's going to run up and be mean to her, and she's never going to want to talk to him again. I call bullshit on that. I'm going with the director's cut version.
Okay.
All right, then.
The theatrical release version, which I remember correctly.
I hate when movies have multiple endings. I really, really do. Just stick to one freaking ending. Clue's like that, too. The movie Clue has, like, multiple endings. I've
never actually seen that movie.
It's fun. It should be on cable. It's fun. It's a fun movie. But at least on the cable version, they show all the different endings as to who possibly did it. But it's based on the board game, so it's understandable that there could be multiple endings. All right, so back to our book, which will definitely have one solid ending. Thank you, Stuart.
This is the first book that I don't always do this, but most of the time I will flip to the end and read the last paragraph. Because the last paragraph does not give away the ending. It doesn't reveal any major plot twists. Basically, all it does is let me know who's still alive. That's really all I care about.
Did you do that for this book?
I'm afraid. I'm afraid to even accidentally open it to the end.
I did it. I wasn't gonna admit it to you. But I did. You don't want to. I mean, it doesn't ruin everything, but it's because you still have that journey, but it just makes things a little bit more frustrating.
I feel so betrayed.
Don't do it though. Don't do it.
I had
to know. I had to know. And because sometimes I get to that point where in a book, I have to know what happens at the last few lines. Are you reading the last page right now?
No, I'm looking at the landscape.
Yeah. Yeah, I happened to come across it because I was looking for the conversation with Stuart at the end, and I wanted to check that out. And then I saw that last page, and I was like, "Oh, that happened!" And then, yeah.
Well, so far, we know that Daniel, which I thought is a little ironic because last week we were talking about Daniel, and you're like, I don't like him, and
now I like him.
So far, he seems really nice. Like because he's the last host. He's day 8.
He seems like the one with the least amount of issues.
Right?
He's the least train wreck of all the characters.
So
I know my train wrecks this week.
So all the hosts at this point, from Ravencourt forward, they're all starting to communicate with one another. Ravencourt was the first one to kind of reach out to the rest of them and start communicating and try to exchange information and figure out what everyone knows, which was genius. I never would have thought of that. And by the way, what does Ravencourt have on his little assistant man that made him stay when he wanted to quit? Do we know that?
We don't know that yet.
We started getting into it when Jonathan was talking to his mom, Millicent.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if this is what they were talking about. How, what is his name? Starts with a C, like Cavendish or something. Cunningham. That he's the illegitimate son of Lord Hardcastle. I forget his name.
Yeah, that was a moment. I totally guessed what that was.
In the grand scheme of things, that kind of passed me.
But one of the things I find really interesting about it, because, okay, so for that time period, not that surprising, but the fact that Helena is, like, embracing of him, that I find really interesting, because that wasn't what I expected. What I was expecting was that he was her lover, because they were so close with each other. He's able to go into her rooms. He talks with her. He made it seem like they were a chummy.
We haven't even met them yet. We met Lord Hardcastle for like a minute and a half when Aiden is the butler.
Mm-hmm.
But haven't met Helena yet at all. Which, like, and also, so basically they're selling their daughter to this.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we got diverted on that one. What the hell is up with that? They're selling their daughter to Ravencourt. Let's discuss Ravencourt here for a moment. Ravencourt seems like a very logical man, but he's not the most pleasant of men to sell your 20-something-year-old daughter to.
No.
That's really what it comes down to. They need money, so they're going to sell her off to the richest man.
And they blame her for their other son's death. They blame her for Thomas's death.
Which, let's take into consideration their ages. She was like no more than 10 at the time?
Yeah.
11? So she was a kid herself. And they left her in charge of another child. So, I'm sorry, if you've got all this money, get yourself a freaking governess. That's on you guys. You leave her with a 10-year-old child, and something like that happens where she was keeping him entertained. He was on a scavenger hunt. She didn't think that their groundskeeper was going to murder him. They're in their home, playing in their own backyard. I mean, it's not her fault your backyard is how many acres?
It's not her fault your backyard is a forest.
Right? I mean, you could set some ground rules here, people. You don't allow him into the forest. You need to watch him. Don't let him in the forest. Keep him in the house.
Don't leave him by the lake.
Right? I mean, Michelle, you're a parent. Come on now. Would you? Seriously.
If I had an estate and I had to say the words, don't leave him in the forest, I would probably have a nanny present.
Mm-hmm. As all responsible parents who have a manor do.
I mean, I'm assuming I would be able to afford a nanny if I have a forest and a lake and a boathouse and a cottage and a reflecting pool.
You know, and if you can't afford a nanny, maybe you should sell off one of your assets so that you can afford said nanny. Because it's called
Or-
responsible parenting, people.
Or look after your own kids.
There you go. There's
No.
another option.
But I feel really like what I know of Aiden, I love Aiden.
Me too. I really like him too.
Which is funny because he's the only character that we don't really know. Like we know these characters. We know Belle. We know what was it, Collins. We know Davies. I forget Davies. Which he was the.
Do you need to go back and look at the reference, the handy dandy reference in the beginning of the book?
Now I know, but I forget which. Oh well, why don't I pull up my little tab here?
Yeah, you have it indexed. Well, Davies, he is a
Oh, he was the
he's
playboy.
a socialite. Yeah, he's the one that took off in the car, and now he's just left asleep on the side of the road. Poor dude.
That's right.
I actually do kind of feel a little sorry for him that Aiden just kind of left him by the side of the road. I mean, I like Aiden, but he frustrates me sometimes.
And I just feel like at this point, like you're wasting time. You're wasting hosts. You're fighting this when like you're stuck in it. I mean, the plague doctor even tells Davies, then fail out of spite, but know this, if you don't solve this problem by midnight and your final host will strip your memories and return you to the body of Dr. Bell, and this will all begin again. So how long, how many time loops has he gone through of him fighting? He's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in his 6th host. He has 2 hosts left, and he hasn't really done any detective work. All he's done is try to find ways to fight the plague doctor.
Wait, Daniel, 6th host, the 6th day. That's not Davies on the 6th day.
No. I mean in Derby right now, where we are.
Okay, Derby is the 5th.
1. No, it's his 6th because there's Dr. Bell and then Collins. And then, oh, you know what? Sorry, you're right. The 5th. I marked Collins because he went back into Collins briefly.
Yeah, he goes back and forth into Collins, actually. Collins, it's interesting because we find out that he actually has to finish out those days.
The full day.
The full day. So that means at some point he's going to have to go back to Davies.
Unless the footman found him and killed him on the road.
Which, I mean, would serve him right. Because he just left the guy on the road.
And
I'm sorry, Aiden, but still.
Like, how can there be a time loop if there is a footman out there trying to kill the hosts? Is it just, can we assume that he never succeeds in killing hosts if he can keep going back and going?
Well, I don't think he's actually killing them because, I mean, you look at the slashing and he's messing with them. And if the guy, and let's also assume that whoever the plague doctor is working for, because let's face it, plague doctor is middle management. Whoever plague doctor is working for has the power to like restore these people. Because obviously Evelyn keeps getting restored, and she kills herself at the end of everything. So whoever has the power to set this whole thing up has the power to reanimate the hosts on whatever plane this is acting out on.
Well, and also I think that Anna, I don't think that Anna is Evelyn, but I think Anna was sent by the plague doctor. I think that she's like their help. I think the plague doctor feels a little sorry for them. And he like created like a cheat sheet, like some like, you know, like when you're
okay. I really think that it is Evelyn. I really do.
Well, how could she be in 2 places? Well, I guess they're never seen together, so she could be Evelyn. But they don't look alike. Anna is blonde and Evelyn
We don't know what Aiden looks like.
No, but we know
she's
what
in a maid's body. She's in another host. She's in a host too.
Do we know that? Or is she actually?
Yes. She's in a host. Well, I mean, I'm going to trust the fact that she's in a host unless we know something else differently, unless we think that it's actually her. But she's put into the maid's bodies. The way I read it was that she was put into the maid's body. She's a
hold, please. Let's see.
And you thought this would be an abbreviated episode.
That's why you're back here. Don't worry, it's all highlighted. I can find it quickly. My tab down here says, Daniel Coleridge is one of us. Oh, Anna's a friend. Okay. The footman's hunting me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and also one of those little like aha moments when at the very beginning when Sebastian goes into the parlor to talk to Evelyn and she's playing chess with Ravencourt, and Ravencourt kind of gives Belle like this really like sympathetic, like grateful expression. It's actually him looking back at himself. He's in the past going, dude, you are so screwed.
If I was as naive as you are right now, and I mean, Belle could have done so much more. And I find it so interesting that he seems to be taking on the characteristics of each of these characters, of these hosts, as he takes them on. Like, he's very cunning when he's in Ravencourt, and we just take it for granted that, hey, he's just starting to play the game. So he's now this really logical person. And then he ends up in Derby, and Derby is a
rapist.
Yeah, I was going to try to use other more fouler language, but yeah, rapist works.
I can't find the part that I don't think Anna's in a host, though. There was a part that said something, but I can't find it. I'll look for it. So basically, this book is one giant mind.
And I find myself studying chess. Like I used to like
a whole Wikipedia page about what the chess pieces mean.
Yeah, because I mean these actually they play a role in it. I realize. So the so you see that there's this note and stay away from Millicent, and then there is the castle drawn next to it. That's not a castle, that's a rook. That in the chess thing. And I sent her this whole thing about what a rook was. And I think we sent each other too many text messages. So it's so hard to actually go back and look at something. So let me see if I can find that Wikipedia article that I sent her. But basically, a rook can go anywhere. My God, woman, we text a lot.
It's like a rook can...
It can move forwards and backwards and side to side. And in some cases, it can act stronger than a queen. Okay, here we go. So according to Wikipedia, the value of a rook is, in general, rooks are stronger than bishops or knights, which are called minor pieces, and are considered greater in value than either of those pieces by nearly 2 pawns, but less valuable than 2 minor pieces by approximate pawn, because that totally makes sense.
Side note. You may have realized this, but do we think it's weird that Aiden's last name is a chess piece also?
No. I mean, it fits with all of this. And she has a bishop. She hands him a bishop at one point. It does, because he gets the bishop at the very beginning that she gives to Belle.
With her name on the bottom.
Rooks and queens are called heavy pieces or major pieces, as opposed to the bishops and knights, the minor pieces. So, rooks are powerful towards the end of the game when they can move unobstructed by pawns and control large numbers of squares. They're somewhat clumsy at restraining enemy pawns from advancing towards promotion unless they can occupy the file behind the advancing pawn. So, in the note that is left to, with all of that into consideration, the note says, stay away from Millicent. So, I think Millicent is playing a heavier hand than what we know.
I really need to finish this book.
I'm on page 219, so I'm a little over halfway.
I'm on chapter 26. So don't read anything on accident. Chapter 26. Where is it? Here we go. I'm on 175.
Okay, so hurry up, because I want to be able to catch up with you. So we're gonna have like 2 books in a row that I know we're just gonna obsess over.
Yes, I lost my bookmark.
Because my bookmark actually went from being one of our old bookmarks, to my theories. I wrote my theories down on a paper, and I've got it's all crumbly because I fell out of my book and my dog walked all over it. But I keep that as my bookmark now, so I can save my theories in here. But yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna be is equally obsessed over Kingdom of Copper.
Well,
it'll be interesting because we'll have Stuart on the 3rd, but we'll be starting Kingdom of Copper earlier that week too.
I don't think I can start anything until I get this book out of my system.
I kind of feel like I have to, I'll read something else. Like I finished The Only Woman in the Room this week. Yeah, it's okay. I can breathe again. Everything's all right.
Well, so basically, you guys keep reading and let us know who your favorite hosts are. Oh, okay. Fantasy casting, really quick.
Yes. Lily James as Evelyn.
Ooh.
Right?
Good one.
Right? I like her as Evelyn.
And this just popped into my head, but we're talking, I don't know. She just popped in my head. Emily de Ravine for Anna.
Emily de Ravine. I'm not familiar with her.
Belle from Once Upon a Time.
Ooh.
But she was blonde in Lost. She was in Lost. And she was Claire, pregnant girl in Lost. I don't know. That's who popped into my head. But all of the hosts, I need someone scrawny and scruffy with glasses for Sebastian Bell and kind of jittery.
You know who would be good for Sebastian Bell is Daniel Radcliffe.
He would be pretty good. Or
and for those of you who are not familiar with Daniel Radcliffe, it's Harry Potter growing up.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, I'm giving our listeners the benefit of the doubt.
David Tennant. Or he could be as sad and heartbreaking as it may sound. I could picture him as Jonathan Darby too.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think he would do
well
for Darby.
He makes a good, creepy, no offense to David Tennant. I mean that in the best possible way.
No, but he plays creepy so well. He was in the remake of Fright Night. And he did this Chris Angel-like character. He was so sleazy and so sexy at the same time. I felt like I needed to take a shower just because I found him sexy.
And he played, he's also a Harry Potter alumni.
Yeah, he's, what's his face? Is Bartleby Crouch's son. Yeah, he does creepy so well. And I like to think that he was actually the doctor going back in time to try to stop Twilight from happening.
And all right, so we're on a roll. We got a few characters.
Was it Daniel, the one that we weren't sure about at first, the gambler?
Side note, Anthony Hopkins as the Plague Doctor.
Ooh, I like that. I was thinking Tobias Menzies for Daniel.
Yes. Oh, Frank.
Yeah. I like him for that. The only guy that I can think of for Ravencourt is actually passed away. It was thinking about the uncle from Harry Potter.
Ooh.
So somebody like him would be good, I think.
Yeah, because I was thinking he's also passed away, but the actor who played Tony Soprano, but I think he's a little. Mm-hmm. It would be Tony Soprano's character, not the actor playing Tony Soprano.
Yeah, that one's gonna be hard to cast. I'm sure there's somebody. I'm sure we can find somebody.
There's so many characters, and then Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins was in a really bad fire.
Yeah, so he'd have to wear prosthetics.
But I really liked David Tennant for Jonathan Darby.
Oh, for the doctor. Oh, you didn't watch Downton Abbey. I'm still bitter with you over not watching Downton Abbey.
I have to start because my mom loves that show, and I know the movie's coming out this year. So I need to binge it just so I can go to the movie.
Okay, so I like Downton Abbey up until the last 2 to 3 seasons. The last 2 to 3 seasons really just kind of turned me off. But the person that I'm thinking of for the doctor is Jim Carter, who, for those of you who watch Downton Abbey, that would be Mr. Carson, the butler.
Yes!
And he could pull off that mustache so well.
He really can. And I did watch the part of Downton Abbey when he was on trial for murder or whatever it was. I watched that part. So, yes, I like him. Hi, Fish.
Yeah. Brendan Coyle was the guy who played Bates. Well, I adored Bates. That was my problem with this. They just got to be they just kept picking on Bates and Anna over and over and over again, and it was like, for crying out loud,
just let them be.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, I get it. Bad things happen to good people, but they don't happen to the same good people over and over and over again like this. For crying out loud, did Anna break a mirror at some point? But before the show started, I think I kind of also want to cast Brandon Cole in one of the.
And I keep thinking, I feel like there's a place for Luke Evans in there somewhere.
There's always a place for Luke Evans. Let's just put that out there. There's always a place for Luke Evans.
He plays a good creepy guy. He could be the plague doctor.
Ooh, he could be the plague doctor. Or Michael Hardcastle.
Yes. There you go. And we don't have Daniel Coleridge. We don't have him.
Yeah, didn't we? Daniel was Tobias.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Sorry, I forgot. No, okay. So for that, sorry, I was thinking of someone else.
What were you thinking of? Because I was thinking because he's a gambler. And are you thinking about Stan? Luke Evans might make a good Stanwin because he was groundskeeper beforehand, and so many wonderful characters to cast.
There's, or, I mean, if we're keeping with the groups, we could throw Emma Watson in there somewhere.
I mean, Grace Davies is going to be making an appearance.
Hi. Fish just
and then also, she could be Madeline, the maid from France.
Sorry, Fish just walked across my keyboard, and I didn't know what keys he'd be pressing. Stop recording. And now he's right here.
Not happy that he got pulled off the keyboard, as all happens with all cats.
All right, so we have to flesh out our fantasy cast, but I think we have a good.
We have a very solid A-list cast.
Right, so whenever Stuart's book gets signed, he could just forward our contact info over, and we'll be happy to talk to the casting director. We have the work already halfway done for them. I mean,
yeah.
And if we have to sit in on auditions, I guess we'll do it.
I mean, I suppose.
As long as there's wine.
I mean, really.
Or mimosas if it's the morning.
I mean, yeah, because we are experienced at this whole casting thing.
Totally. All right, so we're going to wrap up our mini episode. We're going to have to change the description because I put
It's definitely not a mini episode. It's a full hour because once you and I get talking about a book that we love, we could go longer if we wanted to.
Stuart should totally listen to this episode just so he has an idea of what he's getting himself into.
No, I don't want to scare him away.
All right, everyone. So keep reading. Send us your fantasy cast ideas or your theories, whatever you have going. Let us know, and we'll pick this back up next week.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night, guys.